So I'd like to welcome you to the interview I have just completed with my dad. It was a first for both of us. It was the first time I have interviewed anyone, and for my dad, the first time he's been an interviewee, and the first time he's really spoken about his stammer. And what I love about it is that he has been on his own journey, and it's not been easy. And I think one of the things that he said he wanted to share with people that we didn't quite manage to fit in was that sometimes he can feel a bit like a fraud. Whilst he is a person who stammers, he's openly said he hides stammering. And so whilst in the interview, he is a person who stammers, that is part of him, you might not notice him stammering very often. But this is where he is right now. And for him, he's happy doing what he's doing. He's got strategies that he's learnt. But I hope that you're inspired and kind of, I think for me and my dad, we wanted to talk about this openly, to share some of his journey, to share his experiences and things that have helped him or things that haven't helped him. But mainly to also show the hard side and that it's not easy. As a speech therapist, I'm always so aware that as a person who doesn't stammer, I will never understand it. So I hope you enjoy. I'd love to hear what you think. Here it goes. So thanks for doing this today, Dad. For those of you who don't know, this is my dad. This is the first time that you've really spoken kind of publicly about stammering. We thought we'd just have a little chat today and see where things take us. So could you just start by telling everyone a bit about yourself?
Well, I'm 61 years old. I live in Horsham. I was an engineer for the NHS. I'm retired now. I've got a family and two children, and that's about it.
Yeah, and your daughter's lovely.
Yeah, of course.
That is obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
But and so with your stammer, when did you first notice that you had a stammer? What was your experience of it?
I think the earliest was when I was a small child, probably like 4 or 5 years old. My mum said that I stammered around that age, and before that I didn't really stammer.
Okay. Yeah. And so what were your experiences stammering from then until now? Has it changed over the years?
It's changed almost 100%. I'd say about 98%. I was really, really bad. I had a terrible stammer when I was a child, and I was quite insecure, quite shy. I was. I lived with my mum, dad in the caravan, and they had a very I wouldn't say abusive relationship, but there was lots of arguing, shouting, and through my whole childhood, their relationship was terrible.
Yeah.
But my dad wouldn't let my mum leave, and I think I developed it during that time, and my mum does as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And interestingly, I hear you mentioning your stammers being bad and terrible, and I know that back for your generation especially, those were words that everybody used to describe stammering, and it was something that people said, had to be fixed. And even when I trained in, 15 odd years ago, with stammering, we always were taught it's kind of a disorder, it needs fixing. Now the views are changing, but what do you think about how things are changing now in terms of we're trying to view stammering just as a difference and it not being good or bad, it just being something that is just a way of talking, especially with you having grown up in the world where it was something that you shouldn't be doing.
I always thought it was a embarrassment, and most people that I come across, and even my brother, to some extent, he always saw it as a negative thing, and he got frustrated about it, and so did lots of other people I met. So I always saw it as negative, embarrassing, something I didn't really want to do, and but the more I tried not to do it, the more it became a problem, and it raised my anxiety, and I'd get worse.
Yeah, yeah. I know a lot of people say that stammering is almost, you get stuck. I mean, how would you describe what stammering feels like?
Yeah, it gets interrupted. I try and speak, and then it puts a brake on it instantly, and sometimes if I try and get out of it, it just repeats. I just repeat the same mistake over and over again, and then I get frustrated and angry.
Yeah, because I think it's really important that, yeah, even now when people are saying stammering is just a way of talking and it's okay to stammer, it's really important that actually it is frustrating for people, and it is, being stuck. Some people have said it feels almost like having a loss of control in kind of speaking, and yeah, I think it's understandably something that, if you're getting physically stuck and it's really hard to talk, why wouldn't you want to not experience that? And as a therapist now in therapy, those are some of the things that we can help people with, is pull apart stammering as being the okay bit, because it's fine to talk differently, but the bit that we can sometimes support people if they want it is that struggle, that being stuck, not being able to get your words out, and that frustration and anger that comes with it. Have you had any experience, like memorable experiences growing up and having a stammer?
Yeah, lots. Yeah, lots and lots. Bus drivers, taxi drivers, uh, people at school, even teachers, all all ne- all negative responses to me trying to talk, and I think lots of people, and even people who you don't think are are outwardly against it. You can tell by their facial expression and their body language that they're not comfortable, and really they'd rather get out of the conversation, and they will avoid you next time, and you find that's quite divisive with people. Some people are happy to talk to you and don't mind, and other people, they really shy away from it and would rather not. So you learn very quickly who those people are, and you get to judge them.
Yeah, I imagine that, yeah, those reactions from other people have probably shaped how you view your stammer, in terms of if you've had lots of negative reactions from people, then no wonder that you're getting frustrated or you don't want to stammer, if you're having people kind of reacting that way. But yeah, what do you think your stammer has kind of taught you over the years? Because obviously, yeah, it sounds like you're picking up a lot, and I wonder if you can read. I know, because I'm your daughter, but you can read people really well, like you said about the nuances in face expressions. That must be quite a skill that you've picked up on, to be able to read people like that. Do you think that's because you're a stammer?
Yeah, I think definitely I can judge people. Well, I think I can judge them quite well, from early sort of interaction with them, and sometimes I can see the same characteristics in people that I've seen before. So it makes me quite judgmental, cynical, and you almost know the people who are going to be comfortable with you, and those that are not. So
Do you think that's a good skill to have, to be able to read people and almost have a radar for who's going to be?
I don't think it's good or bad. It's just something that happens naturally, and probably it makes it makes friendships slightly easier, because it's like a filter. It filters out the ones that you probably are going to discard, because they're not true friends. You know.
Yeah. Have your friendships been? I mean, have they been impacted by you having a stammer, or is it not been something?
Well, the friends I've had for years and from school and the kids I was brought up with, yeah, absolutely fine. Yeah, the ones that accepted it were absolutely, and okay, they'd joke about it and have a laugh, and I'd laugh with them too. But it was nothing really bad aimed at me. It was just part of growing up, and the bullying thing. I never really got badly bullied at school over my stammer. Um, and no worse than anyone who was overweight or a minority or fat. You know. So
Okay.
so I feel I was quite lucky.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think, stammering's shaped your personality?
Yeah, I think
And if so, how?
um, yeah, I think it's made me a better person because I can I can look at other people and I can understand maybe that they've got different problems to me, but their problems are just as um, as important to them. So always give people time. Really, I think that's the main thing. Give them time, and and then you'll see what they're really like.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like, I don't know if it's for everybody, but people with communication differences are almost more understanding and acceptable of everybody, and that's a really nice trait to have. And I've heard stammering being a thing that kind of not forces, but kind of forces people to slow down, to stop, to listen. Because in that moment of stammering, when you do get stuck, it's kind of like you're both, you and the person you're talking to are kind of just there in that moment of time, not knowing when you're going to start talking again. But actually, a lot of people are seeing the beauty in that and saying, in this fast-paced life where everything's go, 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 actually we can learn a lot from people who stammer because it's forcing us to slow down and really be present. What do you think about that?
I think some people it's fine. Other people it's just an annoyance to me that I really want to speak and also jump into conversations. I find that I lose track of the conversation and if I want to join in, someone else will join in earlier because they're more fluent, and then I'll lose that, and then I'm always playing catch up in the conversation, and that makes you more and more and more frustrated.
Yeah.
And sometimes you find you're actually getting het up inside, and your breathing's changing because you're getting anxiety. And it can be very difficult.
Yeah, that must make talking much harder for you to have all of that happening whilst other people are, not, they're just talking freely and easily.
Yeah.
So how do you manage those situations where all of that is happening and people on the outside might not necessarily know any of that?
You've just got to try and judge when to step in and what words to use so you don't stop. So you've got to navigate around the English language and try and fit words that work. So constantly over time, your brain is trying to work out the easiest words to use. So and that's quite mentally tiring in a conversation. But the more people there are, the harder it is to engage, and you do feel a bit on the outside.
Yeah. So if it sounds like maybe that's a kind of coping strategy that over the years you've kind of learned these things naturally to try and I guess be able to join in conversations. Do you think that's right? Do you think that you should be doing all the hard work, or should you just be able to speak freely and for people to allow more pauses naturally, knowing that we might get a more authentic you, because you're not having to take all the time to think about, oh, I need to use that word or this word. And does that work in reality? Because it's easy for me to say, all these things, but actually, having a stammer and living with it's very different, I imagine.
Yeah, I'd rather not. I'd rather not show that side of me, because then that just increases my anxiety, and so I'd rather hide it and have it covert,
Yeah.
so everyone around me feels, I'm not sure, safer. Sometimes people don't feel safe if someone stutters, especially new people, strangers. They think there's something wrong with you, or you've got mental illness, and you can see the fear on their faces, and you really don't want to bring that to people.
Yeah.
So that's why I always try and hide it. And maybe it's not the right thing, but it makes me feel more comfortable.
Yeah, but I can understand when you've grown up with such negative reactions, by having a voice that stammers, and if the world around you is saying this isn't okay and not to do it, then it's no surprise that you and many people that I speak to as well do hide stammering, and to not do that is extremely vulnerable, especially with like you said, you're over 60 now. To have that many years, you've kind of learned how to do things in the way that works for you. And you haven't, as far as I know, you haven't had any speech therapy. I know we've had chats over the years, haven't we? But you've kind of managed to deal with everything yourself. How has that been?
Well, I remember when I was a child, my mum and dad did take me to speech therapy, and I think I went to one meeting, and they asked me to talk into a microphone, and it was just horrendous. And after that, I actually refused to go, because I found my stammering after that one session made me worse. And being a child, I didn't really understand that maybe I'd have to go through many sessions to actually build up and improve. But I didn't understand that, so I just rejected it as a child, and that was the first and the only time I've been.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
Yeah, it's definitely different now. I know you've heard me talk about what we do now, and how it's changed over the years, and now I guess we may give people strategies to talk more easily if that's something you want to do. But I know a lot now is trying to put stammering as just a way of talking, so to have it more in the media, on TV, so that people aren't scared of it, and that people almost expect a stammered voice. Whereas at the moment it feels like people don't expect it, and like you were saying, that they then think, oh, what's that about, and what is that voice? And do you feel that having more stammering voices out there, and if more people understood about it, do you feel like that would have changed your experience for the better, or would it have not?
Yeah, possibly. I
I
mean,
don't know, isn't it?
yeah, I think it probably would if it was more in the mainstream. Then I think people would understand. But there's always going to be those people who are intolerant or ignorant, and you always get that in all walks of life, all age groups, from children up to adults. So I don't think you're ever going to get rid of those prejudices. But yeah, if it was mainstream, then maybe people would be more aware and acceptant of it.
Yeah, definitely. And there's at the moment like a stammering pride movement where people are kind of celebrating stammered voices. And I know I've shared with you that Disfluent magazine, and those stories. What do you think about stammering pride? Because it's something that some people really embrace, some people don't. They don't want to, or they're not quite there yet. What do you think about that?
I think anything that puts it into the public arena is a good thing. And I think also those people can meet other people and talk about their own experiences. And I've never spoken to anyone really, apart from my wife and children about it. And even then, I'm not really comfortable. And but I know people who stammer at work, and yet I've never sat down and had a proper conversation about their stammer or my stammer, because I was just fearful of upsetting them. And I think the same is true of them talking to me. So it was all something that was never said.
Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult to know how to approach, even start that conversation. And would you have any advice for somebody who, has a friend that stammers or is working with a colleague? Because should it be the other person that approaches the person who stammers, or should we wait for the person who stammers to talk about it, or like you said, just nobody saying anything about it?
Yeah, I think it would be good to talk, but sometimes because my stammering now is at a point that it's not noticeable, I can hide it very well. If I do speak to people who have got a stammer, I feel they might think I'm actually taking the mick, or so I don't want to put them in that position.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we touched on that a bit earlier, that you said you do hide your stammer. From the outside, people might not realise, but like you said, underneath, you're working really hard. And I know we've spoken before briefly about what it would feel like to kind of drop all of that. And I think you said to me before, it would be quite difficult to let that go. Do you still feel like that now?
I found that I almost did drop it, and it has made it easier. I remember I watched the King's speech, and my stammer at that point was probably it was not too serious, and I remember watching the film, and I thought, well, if the King's got a stammer, why should I worry about having a stammer? So I made a conscious effort the next day when I was at work. I thought I'd go to the shop and I'll ask for a Kit Kat. And normally I point or say I'll have one of those, and don't mention the word Kit Kat, because I can never normally say it. And I thought, what the hell? I'm just gonna come out and I say to the lady, and if I stammer, it's not a problem for me. It's going to be on her how she reacts. So it was quite enlightening that I actually didn't stammer, and after that I was like, wow, that was really odd. So I practiced again, and I found it was almost to the point where it was gone. It was like that point was a really important point, and I think it was a fear of stammering was making me stammer instead of the actual stammer itself.
Yeah. So the person serving you a Kit Kat had no idea what actually was going on for you, how huge that her reaction would have played in maybe you doing more challenges or not. And I wonder what might have, I guess we'll never know what might have happened if you had stammered, or would she have reacted at all? And how do you find people reacted when you did stammer? Or did you find that, after kind of learning some coping strategies, you were able to just hide it? I mean, were you able to hide it all the time? Or did it?
No, not all the time, no. I couldn't hide it all the time. And then I'd try and do things to help it. Like sometimes I'd tap my feet or look away, or I'd stop and start again, or just use a different word. And I'd always be looking at that person, and sometimes if they were strangers, it would be shock on their face initially, and you could see they were probably thinking, oh, I don't want to upset the poor man or lad. But you could see, it's not nice as a two-way thing.
So yeah, I wonder whether, you're kind of foot tapping or looking away, whether that versus you just stammering and then hearing your stammered voice, would that have been any different? Because that your stammered voice sounds different, but then you doing something different is also a difference. So yeah, I guess I'm just curious to kind of wonder why you chose that instead of your stammered voice.
I just wanted to break the cycle of the stammer and just continue fluently.
Yeah.
So that I didn't put that other person into an embarrassing situation, really.
Yeah.
And in the past with other people, I've had them be very negative, and they've actually said hurry up or I haven't got the time for this, or which makes you feel terrible.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, and that's adults. When I was a child, you have that from a few adults, and it's not good.
No, not at all. And it's no wonder that you're trying to do anything you can to not stammer by trying to tap your foot. And my understanding is some of these those kind of strategies do work for people occasionally. So I don't know if you find that, and you might not even know consciously, but sometimes when people tap their foot one time, that might have helped them get the word out. So your body then goes, cool, if we do that again, we tap our foot and we can get the word out. But then if that doesn't work, you've got to do something else. And so slowly these layers can build up. And a lot of the time, they only work temporarily. So it's a long-term thing. They don't help. Has that been the same for you, or have you had a different experience?
I think, definitely. Certain strategies I've tried have never really worked. I think the only thing that really works is having a stable environment. And when I got married, obviously my wife was very accepting of it, and it was not a problem. And that helped. That was another big change in my life, and also my stammering probably cut down by 30-40% after I was married.
Shout out to mum.
Yeah, that's it. And also your priorities change when you're a teenager and a child. All you think about is being accepted, and that's really a powerful thing. But when you're older, your priorities change, and you've got a mortgage and you've got children, so that's much more of an influence over your life than what a stammer is. So it gets lower down on the list, and as it gets lower, it starts improving because you're not focusing on it.
Yeah. So I guess a couple of points is, kind of we can see how, parents who might have children that stammer and teenagers kind of just want to, like you said, be accepted and to not stammer and not be different. But it sounds like from what you're saying, the environment is such a big influence, and we know, and hopefully a lot of people do know, that there is no cure for stammering. So unfortunately, people are coming saying, I want to get rid of this, I don't want to have it, and we're saying, well, there's not actually a cure for it. And so these strategies that we can kind of, people try and learn, doesn't actually help because there is no cure for it. But I don't know how that's affected you, knowing that there is no cure for stammering, and how you find that, because that must, I don't know if you find that frustrating or okay now, or yeah.
Nowadays, it's such a small part of my life that I've got used to the covert stammering. It's just part of me. So I tend not to worry about it. But yeah, years ago it was a worry, and it definitely affected my life.
Yeah.
But when you're younger and you meet friends and you also you start developing in things you like, and I was always interested in music and fishing and going out socialising, and all those things are a great leveler for meeting other people and then meeting you. So it's not a huge thing for them, the huge thing is your personality, and that's what comes across, and also your humour as well. I think you've got to sometimes laugh at yourself and not be too serious, and don't beat yourself up about it. Although it's hard not to sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. So what advice would you say, on top of that, would you give a teenager who is maybe looking for, often I get people wanting these strategies and wanting not to have it, and I'm saying, it's okay to have a stammer, and let's embrace it and celebrate it when, a lot of people are feeling frustrated or shame or embarrassed, and it's really hard, I think.
I would say find hobbies, go and find things you like, especially music. Music is a huge thing, and also it relaxes you, but other people will be drawn to you who also like your kind of music, and as many things as you can, get out there and try. Try hobbies, try activities, try anything, meet people, and then they will see your true character and who you are. So yeah, don't be shy, but it's very difficult when you're younger not to be like that.
Yeah, but it sounds like you're saying kind of almost don't think about stammering, think about the other things, think about things that are not related to talking or stammering. And, obviously talking is going to come up, but that having a stammer, I guess, is only a small part of who somebody is. And so what you're saying is find out, all of those other things that you like. I know in my sessions I often talk about, building on strengths and looking out for kind of the good things that are happening. But I wonder if you've got any advice for parents as well, who are often worried about their children who stammer. Whether you'd say anything different, or whether it is the same, that even from a young age help build them up and go along with their interests.
Yeah, I think as a parent, you're always really fearful about what your child's going to do at school, how they're going to interact with other children. So you always tend to worry, and I'm sure my parents did about me, and also my brother. It was a frustration thing with them that they didn't want to see me go through a hard time. So I think they didn't want me to stammer, but they couldn't really do much about it. So it wasn't any of theirs fault. It was just part of what was happening to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a parent, I'd say just treat your child like any other child, and just do the normal things, and encourage them to meet people, get out there, go to groups, go to scouts, guides, anything to improve your confidence, and I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Is confidence.
Yeah. And how have you become more confident? What things did you do?
I think I got married. I was definitely more confident, and then when I got a job, I joined the hospital. I become much more confident in my talking, and I become part of the steering group in our workshop. So I talk at meetings, and that was really, really good, and that helped me, and that gives you like self-esteem, and other people, look at you in a different way, and I think that's really good.
And how did you manage that step to talking at work? Because a lot of people, and again, I guess this whole interview is based on people where stammering might be a problem for them, because there's millions of people who stammer and it's not a problem. But for a lot of the people I work with and talk to, is that they kind of say, well, how do you get to be talking in a meeting where you don't know if you're going to stammer or not stammer, or if you're going to get stuck. So yeah, how did you kind of just have to push through and do it like you did with the other scenario? Or
I think I had confidence in the people I worked with, and they always said, you can do it. You're smart. You can talk. You can hold a good conversation, and it's important that you use your voice, and it's not that important if you stammer. It's important what you say, not how you say it.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah, that's brilliant advice. Yeah, and I wonder how much pressure that takes off of you, for people to be around you that are supporting you, and saying it doesn't matter if you stammer or not, we'll still listen. And I wonder how different things would have been for you growing up if you had that kind of support. Like I said, at the time nobody knew any of this kind of stuff, so it's not that anybody was doing anything wrong, it's just we didn't know about what we know.
Well, I mean, it was a different world when I grew up at school, and totally different sort of way of teaching and behaving. NHS was totally different. Speech and language therapy was very minor in those days. But yeah.
Yeah. So then, if stammering was just seen as a way of talking, and it doesn't matter if you stammer, doesn't matter if you do or not, and if you're stammering more or less, we kind of, not that you don't care, but they don't really care essentially. Do you think that would have made you feel more confident? Do you think it would have helped talking become easier? Because I know over the years you've also said to me, and I think you said a bit earlier, that when you stopped caring about stammering, talking felt easier. And when you said when your priorities changed, it felt like, well, there are more important things to worry about than what I'm saying. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, absolutely. Confidence is key, and if people are not giving you a hard time and are accepting, then it will be better, because it's all about anxiety and fear. It's fear of failure, and if you can remove that, it will definitely help you.
Yeah, sounds like having a really good supportive network, positive people around you makes a huge difference as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And also, I worked in the NHS, and it's a very supporting environment, and not judgmental. You see many people working in the hospitals who have also got other problems, and that environment really helped me, and I've never had any negative feedback, never any bullying or anything, and I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. I'm just thinking if there's anything else for us to talk about. I guess one thing is about how it's portrayed in the media. And you said you've watched the King's Speech, and when I watched it, I thought, oh gosh, the marbles in the mouth, like that's so not what we do in speech therapy. But obviously back then, they did try those type of things. But yeah, do you feel like stammering is portrayed well in the media in terms of its accurate description of people? I don't know what things come to mind for you when you think about seeing a person that stammers on TV.
Yeah, sometimes people who stammer, they're like, the portrayal on TV and film is quite negative.
It's terrible, isn't it?
It's either people are mentally ill,
Yeah.
or they're evil, or something's wrong with them. It's never normally in a good light, and yeah, so it's not really.
It's not been great.
It's not great.
No.
No.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with you, and again, it's no wonder that people don't want to stammer when they're being portrayed as those type of people. And I think society, has a lot to kind of answer for, and hopefully now that we can start to shift away from those narratives. And I know the charity Stammer is working really hard to get more stammering voices heard, and for anybody to be in a TV drama and stammer, and for it not to be portrayed as somebody who doesn't know what they're saying, or is not intelligent, because that's just not true. That really intelligent people, all walks of life, stammer, and it doesn't feel like the media has portrayed that. Another one is what your thoughts are on people, the media saying people have overcome their stammer, where we know there's not actually a cure for it. So they're like, oh, so and so has overcome their stammer, and they're at the other side. Again, do you think that's a helpful thing for them to be talking about, when we know stammering can't be cured, and so a lot of the time they're not overcoming it?
No, I think
That makes sense.
I don't think you ever overcome it, but you learn to deal with it, and you learn strategies to work your way around it. I'll always see myself as a stammerer, and I always see myself as an outsider in conversations where I talk to people. Even if I aim to be fluent, I just don't think I am fluent, and I don't think that will ever go away.
Yeah. And you know what? I love that about you, though, because I think you've kind of, as a parent to me, kind of taught me that it's fine to be different. And I definitely would say I'm unique in my own way. And whilst I don't stammer, I do have my quirks, and I've always just been seeing difference as kind of fun, in a way that it's a good thing to kind of not stand out all the time, but actually sometimes it is. And our family is anything but dull and boring, but I also think you've taught me a lot about being accepting of everybody. And I know I'm going to interview Mum soon about her communication, because I think as the family, obviously Mum's experience has shaped us as well. But I think
definitely.
I just wonder if, I know it's, for you, stammering has been hard, and it's been a journey, and you're kind of like, you seem in a good place with where you are in your strategies. Have there been any positives that you can see from having your stammer that we haven't maybe spoken about or thought about?
Well, I think really you think about your stammer as being really important in your early life, and I think I said this earlier. But actually, when I was at school, I remember the friends I had. They, some come from broken homes, some were unhappy. They, and some people had different, I wouldn't say disabilities, but different things in their life that affected them. So it wasn't really unusual to be different, and especially with Rita, my wife. She's been through MS, and that has been really difficult, and and she's handled it amazingly, and it puts my speech into a perspective that actually all I have to deal with is this minor speech problem. Some people have to deal with it a hell of a lot more. So I'm quite accepting. I'm quite happy with it. Yeah. It really doesn't define me or make me unable to do things that I want to do.
Yeah, that's good. That's great, and nor should it. So, have you got any kind of funny or light-hearted stories that you wanted to share today?
Well, definitely. I've got quite a funny one. When I was a teenager, we used to go clubbing and discos, that sort of thing. And we went to, me and my friends went to a nightclub in Sutton, and if I recall, it's called Scamps.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how old we were, 17, 18, and anyway, there was a girl there who took my eye, and I approached her on the dance floor and said, "Should we have a dance?" and whatever. It was all going great, and anyway, then she asked me my name, and I could not say my name, and then she sort of because I paused, she asked it again, and I couldn't say it, and she was like, "What's your name? Can't tell me." Yeah, so I just burst out and said Ron, and she said, "Oh, Ron, why? What's the problem with Ron?" And I was like, "That's all right, it's Ron." So we finished our dance, and I come back to the table with my friends, who are all looking, all looking at me, saying, "Oh, that went okay." Yeah, and then I was like, "No, that's it. I can't. Yeah, that's the end of that relationship." And then it's like, "Why?" And I said, "Well, I called myself Ron," and of course they burst into laughter, and we all had a good laugh about it, and I still talk about it now, really. But it's really funny.
Well, if she's watching this, she'll find out.
Yeah,
your name's not Ron.
Yeah, and I can't remember her name, but she's very nice. But and sometimes things ended because you just couldn't pursue them because you didn't use the right word, and sometimes I just laughed about it afterwards, and sometimes I was sad, and sometimes it really hurt.
Yeah.
But generally, I'd laugh about myself and just think, well, that's quite funny, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's a good example of how some of these strategies can not be great when if you're they're stopping you from saying what you want to say. But I'm glad that you were able to see the humour in that one, and I think you have always had a really good sense of humour, and I know sometimes with humour and stammering, it's kind of should it be laughed at, or are we kind of just covering something that is more serious? But I think as long as it's you're the person that's leading it, and you're comfortable and finding it funny, that's a very big difference between people laughing at you, isn't it? And
absolutely. And I can I can laugh at people and make fun at them, and I hope I don't hurt their feelings. And if they do the same to me, I won't take it personally, because if it's done in the right way, in the context of what is happening, then that's fine. And generally, I don't take it personally, and I laugh with other people. I think that's really important.
Yeah, you're definitely a joker, and I sometimes like to stir the pot with people, which makes us laugh. And you're always laughing and joking, and I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've got to look at yourself from the outside and actually think what other people are also going through, and don't take yourself too seriously, I'd say.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
That's difficult when you're young.
Yeah.
And you got peer pressure and everything else.
But it sounds like maybe just that open communication is really important. That, you know, if anyone oversteps the line or makes you feel hurt, or, you know, that you can speak up and maybe, knowing that with friends and family, that if somebody was hurt, we could say that was too far or that wasn't, and knowing that that's when you can kind of be yourself.
Yeah.
And I do feel like we hopefully see your authentic self quite a lot. And that I don't notice that you're always holding back speaking to us as family, but I don't know if you do feel that sometimes you hide your stammer the same, or whether around close family and friends you do feel you can kind of drop it a bit, or whether even then you still don't.
I think it's just part of my natural cycle that I cover it up, and I think that happens with everyone, you know, family, friend, stranger.
Yeah.
It's just a natural part of me. It's like automatic.
Yeah.
So I don't really think about it anymore.
Yeah.
It's just part of me.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing, because it's this big thing that you've done, and I know you wanted to do this today, you know, to help spread some awareness about stammering and to share your story and experience, and hope that other people that are watching this might think, oh, yeah, I'm the same, and you know, it is a journey, and everyone's kind of on their own pathway.
I'd also like to add, when I was brought up, even though I say my family background and parents and other sibling, they were very supportive, and I think they did try really hard, but they didn't really have the support, or didn't know where to find the support. But when I first went to college, I remember my brother come with me to the interview to get the place at college, and that was really important. And that was a great thing for him to do. And
That's brilliant that you had those supports in such a difficult time for people who stammer, that you still had your supportive network. And okay, is there anything else that you wanted to kind of share, or I think you've given us lots of pearls of wisdom already, but I think for me anyway, it's kind of just knowing that it's not easy, and it's something I'll never understand as a person who doesn't stammer, and that I really value all your experiences and what you've shared today.
I think another thing I'd add is when I went to college, I left school, and there was a really good teacher at college, and he was excellent, and he helped me find a job, and he gave me confidence, and I think there's always those people out there who go the extra mile, and through my whole life I've always had people like that, and they actually help you on your way, so don't be despondent, just keep on going.
Well, thank you so much, Dad, I really appreciate it. And is there anything else you wanted to add?
I'll just say be happy and be yourself, and look after the people who you care for, and live your life, and that's the most important thing. And don't worry too much or beat yourself up about it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Laura.